Hi, my name is Mary Dunn, and I want to discuss with you today the Pearl Harbor Address to the Nation by Franklin Roosevelt. A part of our nation's history that will never be forgotten was the attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese. Because we believed we were at peace with Japan, this was an extreme shock and loss to our nation. The day after the attack on Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt addressed the nation. Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, was President Roosevelt's powerful opening statement. President Roosevelt had two main purposes for giving this historical speech. The main purpose was to urge Congress to formally declare war on Japan. President Roosevelt also wanted to gain the support of the American people to be on board with the oncoming war. Today I would like to evaluate President Roosevelt's Pearl Harbor Address to the nation and why it became of historical importance. But always will our nation remember the character of onslaught against us, said President Roosevelt. According to Dugan, this statement made by Roosevelt is what made the attack a defining event in our country's history. The emotions, immediacy, and impact of the Japanese attack throughout Roosevelt's address rallied the American support for World War II. It wasn't more than an hour after this speech that Congress officially declared war on Japan. One of the most devastating days in American history is summed up in this address from President Roosevelt. This is why his address is of historical importance and always will be. Besides the importance of the address itself, President Roosevelt used different ways to make his speech successful. FDR's speech was not long by any means, but Gillian states the speech was meant to be short, with powerful wording. President Roosevelt's targeted audience was first and foremost to Congress, which was to convince them that war was necessary. His secondary audience was then to the people of the nation to gain their support for the upcoming war. The speech contained detailed facts of the event that took place. Roosevelt did not at any time offer his personal opinion. He wanted the listeners to draw their own conclusions. Powerful wording and emotion got his message across to Congress and the nation and encouraged them to believe that war was necessary. Roosevelt's address was indeed short and to the point, but it got the message across, and he kept his targeted audience interested. Listening to the Pearl Harbor Address to the Nation by President Roosevelt made me feel sad and proud all at the same time. He captured my attention with his opening statement and made me feel like I had to listen to the whole thing. He also reassured the nation that this would never happen again. The strong wording and his belief in everything he was saying was powerful, and I hope that when I find a topic I truly believe in, that I would come off as confident as he did. President Roosevelt's speech was definitely a persuasive speech, and in the end, his persuasion worked. World War II was declared after President Roosevelt's address to the nation after the attack on Pearl Harbor. December 7th, 1941 will always be an important date in our nation's history and will live in infamy. Roosevelt's speech was well delivered and aided in the declaration of World War II and is of historical importance to our nation. I feel that Roosevelt chose to use persuasion in his speech and did a very good job at it, considering he got what he wanted. He also did not let his personal feelings be known. He gave to everyone the facts straightforward. Everything from the tone in his voice to the words he said aided in his famous speech. His introduction was epic. I, of course, was not there at that moment, but if I were, he would have had my full attention, and I would have been in full support of the war. Thank you.